Welcome to episode number 28. I'm CJ Werleman. Thank you for joining us. This week we look at how Serbian nationalist forces are once again threatening Bosnian Muslims with genocide in the Balkans. But first, a quick reminder to click on the subscribe button below so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Now let's get into it. Analysts are sounding the alarm bells for the Muslim population of Bosnia-Herzegovina, warning that Serb forces are agitating for a repeat of the early 1990s, when nearly 10,000 Muslim men, women and children were massacred by the Bosnian Serb army under the command of General Ratko Mladic. To this day, the Bosnian genocide not only constitutes the worst mass killings in Europe since the end of the Second World War, but also the worst mass rapes, with upwards of 50,000 women and girls raped by their Serb attackers. The worst of this violence occurred in the town of Srebrenica in the month of July 1995. Roll a clip.
In a field of tears, their memories of terror and death come pouring out. My family, she says. Why didn't they kill me, she is asking. Why didn't they kill me? The UN, he says, they did absolutely nothing to protect us.
Now, to understand Bosnia today, you first need to know how the US brokered 1995 Dayton Accords divided the country into three separate entities, one for the Muslim majority and one each for the Serbian and Croat minorities respectively. Now, the second and most important point you need to understand is this. While Serbia has apologized for its war crimes in Bosnia, it has always stopped short of admitting it committed genocide, despite documented evidence proving Serb leaders intended to annihilate the entire Bosniak population. In fact, Bosnian Serbs not only deny genocide, but their leaders openly celebrate the mass killings of the 1990s in what observers describe as genocide triumphalism, which brings us to the crisis unfolding today. You see, genocide denialism is the continuation of genocide violence because it denies victims their due justice and peace. To that end, things have gotten so out of control that the top international official in Bosnia has outlawed genocide denialism in a bid to counter attempts by Bosnian Serbs to deny the massacre that took place in Srebrenica. But because Serb nationalists desire nothing more than the eradication and annihilation of Bosniak Muslims, they have responded by threatening to dissolve the Dayton Accords and secede the Serbian entity from Bosnia-Herzegovina. Watch.
He also renewed calls for the dissolution of the Bosnian state entirely.
Politički predstavnici Republike Srpske i Srba u predsjedništvu, u Savjetu ministara i parlamentarnoj skupštini, odnosno obadvoma, neće učestvovati u radu i odlučivanju, dok se ne sjede i vidi na koji način se suprotstaviti ovome i nulirati ovo i obezbediti mehanizam da više nema nametanja. Nećemo da živimo u zemlji u kojoj neko može da na svom sajtu proglasi zakon koji na taj način proglaši važeći.
Worse, Milorad Dodik, the Serbian leader in Bosnia's three-person presidency, is also threatening to dismantle the joint armed forces of Bosnia and establish a Bosnian Serb army with the help of Putin's Russia. For this reason, UN officials are warning Bosnian Muslims face their worst existential crisis since the 1990s. Play the clip.
Plans by the Bosnian Serb leadership to exit some of the country's tripartite institutions, including the military and judiciary, are described by the international community's High Representative Christian Schmidt as tantamount to secession. They constitute, he says, the greatest existential threat of the post-war period.
The Bosnian Serb entity has been amassing Russian weapons for the past several years, while also playing host to Russian military advisors and Russian paramilitary groups, including Putin's motorcycle gang, the Nightwolves. A group banned in dozens of European countries and sanctioned by the United States for providing military help to pro-Russian rebels in the Ukraine. Watch.
Outwardly, the Night Wolves like to present themselves as peaceful motorcycling enthusiasts, but experts know that the club is a paramilitary organization.
In the Crimea, the Night Wolves interfere with private military security firms, around 500 in recent years, and take over their business by force.
You see, Russia is eager for the Bosnian Serb entity to break away and create its own statelet because doing so helps the Russian dictator counter NATO and European Union expansionism while also delivering a humiliating blow to its great foe, the United States. A Bosniak who lives in Sarajevo said to me, and I quote, "The situation in Bosnia is very tense. We are afraid of a new war and we know very well if the war starts, we Muslims will be the victims again." End quote. Last week, a Bosnian-born member of the British House of Lords warned that citizens throughout Bosnia-Herzegovina fear violence because there's no way of breaking up the state peacefully and without armed conflict, which is why she and others are urging an immediate deployment of NATO forces to prevent war and another genocide, saying a minimal investment of forces is enough to safeguard peace in the region. To that end, NATO, the EU and the US has a solemn duty to prevent another Muslim genocide in the Balkans because it was their initial hesitancy and inaction that allowed Serb forces to butcher 10,000 Bosniaks there 35 years ago. Play.
Look at the role of what's called the West, the degree to which the West was complicit in the takeover of the enclaves, including Srebrenica.
As I said, 2 Security Council members had knowledge that the attack was coming.
For 15 years I've been saying that Mladic, Karadzic, Milosevic had at least a yellow light to attack that enclave.
Adding to these concerns over Bosnia is the fact Serbia is spoiling for a fight with its other neighbour, Kosovo, having deployed some of its forces to the border in September. More worrying still is the fact Serbia has doubled its military budget during the past 5 years, making it the largest military spender in the Balkans, having bought drones, aircraft and air defence systems from Russia and China. At the same time, anti-Muslim sentiment is rising among the general Serb population, while Serbian war criminals of the 1990s are glorified as heroes amongst the country's growing far right. Go.
The voice of the far right in Serbia is getting louder and louder. Like so many other European countries, the Balkan state is proudly waving the flag of neo-nationalism. What makes the rise of the movement here so concerning to human rights activists is that their role models are convicted war criminals.
These fascist brutes believe the Srebrenica genocide never happened and was a Western government-backed plot to make Serbia look bad. These same people also worship the Nazis. I mean, look at the venom and hatred these Serb nationalist thugs hurl towards prominent Bosniak personalities, including my friend and journalist Rijada Ajkal. My God, one can only imagine the open hostility Bosnian Muslims now endure daily from their Serbian neighbours. For all these reasons, European leaders must act promptly, decisively and forcefully to prevent another genocide and refugee crisis on their doorstep, and at the very least heed these words of wisdom from Hasan Hasanovic, author of Surviving Srebrenica. He states categorically that a Bosnian Muslim genocide will happen again and soon. The clock is ticking, we must act now. Anyway, that's all we have time for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please like and subscribe to this channel and help spread the word with your friends and family on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And we kindly ask you please support this endeavour by becoming a member of this show at patreon.com/CJWellerman. We can't produce, sustain and grow this program without your help, and we offer exclusive benefits to those who do. But for now, good night, good morning or good day, wherever you are, and stay blessed.